How's it going? Another Chris's comments. It's Friday. It's April 2nd, Friday. This subject is... I'm going to try to squeeze two subjects in for this one comment. First, with the immigration. There's supposedly this video where it's a brand new released video. Research, I'm pretty sure, fact checks will pretty much point out later on as to whether or not it is recent, because it's a little confusing. Some parents tossing over a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old over the border wall and then running away. Apparently this is something new, and that according to all the haters and critiques of those that are handling toward those that are handling the immigration, it's a travesty, it's shocking, it's disgusting, it's bad parents, and it's sick because this is a bunch of cartels that cross over and they're doing this and they're doing that, and you could see them tossing kids over for fun and all this other crap, and they're taking advantage of Biden's policies by the Democrats and all this good stuff and blah 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 blah. This leads to just this real plain and simple point. Do your fact checks first. If you study actual criminal history, you'll know that cartels will abduct children. They'll trade them. In the sex trade, they'll traffic them to death. They do it to death. And when they're done with their bodies, they'll throw them away. They've been known to feeding them to dogs, letting them tear their bodies apart. They've just never given a care about anything towards that. The last thing that a cartel will ever do is escort them out to a middle of nowhere and toss them over the wall. You can literally see the guy climbing on top of the wall, sitting up there, bringing the kid over, lowering it as lower as his arms can, and then letting go of the child as the child drops to the ground. Now, whether these fences are 1.5 stories tall, you got somebody doing that and then doing it with another kid, and then jumping off of the wall and then running away. That's what the video showed. I've got news for all of you critics out there. A cartel isn't going to do that. A drug trafficker, trade trafficker, human traffic, whatever the heck, excuse my language, they're not going to do that. They're going to traffic them again and again and again and again until they're dead. And that's the ugly reality of it. All the critics out there that are saying that this is the work of the cartels taking advantage of the Biden administration, they are incredibly wrong. They are incredibly wrong. They really need to do their criminology, their criminal history, and fact check this, because they are really, really wrong. They're doing disinformation, and that's a huge problem. To think that a cartel will traffic a human and then escort the person to a border is just sad. It's just sad, because these are people that are claiming to be all American, and what they're doing is on global television, global news media, global website, are telling the whole world that they are dumb. They're too dumb to know how serious the cartels actually are. They're too dumb to know how far immoral the cartels will go. They're too dumb to think that they kidnap a kid to do whatever and then escort them to a border, when it's just not the case. This thing is just really, really bad. This is really bad disinformation. It's misinformation, disinformation, and it needs to stop. Which leads to shot calling. Guys, if you think Biden's doing so bad with the facilities, and probably more on the way, and how dare he use convention centers like the one in San Antonio to shelter them, because some business is going to want to use that convention center anyway. These are actual haters' words. And it's just dumb. If you guys think you could do better, then you handle it. But right now, every single person that's hating has no solution. Zero. They said, well, Trump did. Not really, no. The guy closed the border and caged people. That's not a solution. It sure as hell isn't doing anything American. At least not by today's standards. Excuse me. You want to do something? You want to ward off all these cartels from doing this stuff? Fine. Go to the border, patrol, and stop them. Don't worry about the kids. Biden's got that under control. He's got the HHS and the BP handling it. He's got everything handled. You want to face with something that's a problem? Go to the border, fight the cartel. Go to Mexico, join the EZLN. Those are the freedom fighters that are fighting the cartels. In fact, I'm pretty sure those of you Proud Boys and all them with your AR-15s and everything, you'd actually be giving them leverage, because EZLN is a bunch of people. I've seen some with still the 100-year-old double-barrel shotguns that they don't have any power like the way the modern day guns do. Not even shotguns. Shotguns this day and age with the properly forged metals that can let that bullet push out with the projectile action. These days a shotgun can do some pretty good damage. But they're over here with old school double barrel shotguns that was passed down to them from 80 to 100 years ago. Now those are freedom fighters. Those are proud nationalists. Those are people that are taking on cartels and looking after everybody as migrants pass through. Those are the people that are actually doing something. Everybody up here in the north, well, you're really not. You're just hating and you're bitching and you're complaining and you're just doing this and all this other crap. And you're coming up with this theory. No, I'm good. You're coming up with this theory that everything's gone shot to hell and there's nothing you can do about it. And that's just BS. That's where you're wrong. You seriously want this stuff to stop? Well, then go down there and take care of it. Otherwise, sit down, shut up, go somewhere else, and let the people that are in charge that are actually handling it do their job. That's what needs to be done. And that's the border. The other subject is the Chinese Communist Party and everything concerning Chinese citizens, concerning the attacks on them. Okay, the AAPI, Asian American Pacific Islanders. They have a point. You shouldn't be attacking them because they're on our side. Okay? And it's true. All the way to China, not just here in the States. And I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Late 2019, early 2020, a doctor, Wei Feng, sorry about that, Wei Feng, a scientist who found out about how COVID-19 is forming and developing, brought the news to the CCP. Okay? And the CCP had him put into a hospital where he was infected. Had him put into a hospital, and they recorded the data of this virus. which technically is not necessary given the fact that it's a virus. The man was held against his will, against seeing his family not capable of seeing, not permitted to see him, to where his skin blackened and rotted due to the virus hitting him right at the liver and dysfunctioning it, causing such a horrible outcome to where he died. Now the CCP did that, not the Chinese people. The Chinese people are ordinary citizens. It was a Chinese seafood, meats, and vegetable markets that ship the foods all over the country, all over the world, even to here to the U.S., that informed their government about contaminated foods, about the contaminated refrigerated and frozen foods. Okay, they were the ones that addressed this to the government. The government being the CCP, Chinese Communist Party. The Chinese Communist Party told them to ship it out anyway. And if they weren't, those that weren't doing that were being jailed and they were being thrown in prison. Rumor has it that a couple of them even got murdered. Right now, there's no facts proving that because CCP will not permit any investigations. So it's gone that far. These were ordinary people who discovered this, who discovered these telltale signs of contamination all the way out to an exposing virus, a traveling virus, an airborne virus. A few scientists had to go underground. They had to go into hiding because every time they brought this up, the CCP would demand that they report to headquarters or whatever the branch headquarters at their location with all of the evidence. A huge warning sign. Some got jailed. Some are missing. Others went into hiding. All the way out to the UK, where one is in hiding, and I believe one from San Francisco is hiding. They just learned their lesson after watching what happened to the ones that already blew the whistle. And now, for some oddball reason, you've got all these Chinese citizens who pitched in, who found out, who were a part of, who got infected, who exposed and went public with this. And for some reason, we here in the States have people that are hating them, attacking Chinese people as if they have something to do with this. And it's wrong. It's the bad choice. It's the wrong choice. You can't do that. We need them, as sure as they are willing to report and go public with the information about what's happening, about what happened to the scientist before this one that it went public, about what happened to the journalist who was forced to shut up, about what happened to that to the business companies and corporations that could have kept their mouths shut. Some of them forced to keep their mouths shut by order of the CCP. And all the way up to that one scientist who was quarantined and forced to die in the name of data processing by accordance to the CCP from the very beginning back in late 2019. Stop with the hate towards the Asians, people. Stop with the hate towards the Asians. At least the Asian citizens. Back to what I was referring to concerning the cartels and the immigration subject. When it comes to hating Asians, you want to seriously throw down with somebody? Well, don't attack a little old lady that's over here on the streets. Get yourself a merchant militia and join some of them over there on the other side of the world, where there's conflicts going on, led by the CCP. The Philippines is one prime example. There's an area in the Philippines where the fishing business is gumming up, and they're, spreading the fish all throughout the world through their fishing corporation. I believe some of it is also here in the U.S. I think Walmart has a brand name of fish that was taken out of the Philippines. Walmart's an all-American company. And we're being denied some food from a certain part of the world, in this case the Philippines, concerning fish, because the CCP is placing fishing tankers all along the parts, and they're taking shots. I shouldn't go shots, I should say shots with high-powered machine guns on the fishermen who are just earning a living bringing fish to us. Okay? That's just one area where your pride and your anti-CCP mentality could come into play. Get yourself a damn military coup or whatever, a militia, and just head on out there and throw a couple of shots back at them. If you're going to be run out by their actual military, well then so be it. You at least made your stand, and you did it to the right people, not the citizens, and certainly not some little old lady here in the States, where there's scientists and doctors of of Chinese origin, to top it all off, that are actually coming out in public with what's going on concerning the COVID. Okay, concerning the coronavirus. If you really, really want to do that, you really want to solve these problems yourselves with your guns and your hate and your anger, whatever the hell, your nationalist pride, fine. Go south of the border. Join the EZLN. I'm sure they wouldn't mind sharing bullets with you. They wouldn't mind you sharing your bullets with them. They've been fighting for decades now. Or you can just let the military handle it. You can just let America handle it. You can let them come in. You can let them go to temporary housing. You can let the ones that have access to a blood family related member that's already here in the States, you can have them shelter that individual or individuals. Shoot, the areas that they're in right now used to have like a soccer field. It's now being used to help quarantine those with coronavirus and those without. I mean, it doesn't get any safer than that. You got people with screens, backgrounds checks. You got people with sending their kids with the identity places. They got it written on their clothing. They got it written on pieces of paper who their parents, who their relatives are. That's over here in the States. It is simplified, but it's slow. And if you really, 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 really want this to speed up, well, hey man, join a volunteer group. Help get this process done. If that's not good enough, and you want to use your AR-15s and your Borelli Tommy guns, hell, do it. Get on out there. But don't take shots at the kids. Don't take shots at some store. Don't take shots in some shopping mall or whatever. Head on over south of the border. Take care of business then. Take care of business. You know who they are. They're the ones that are trying to abduct children, not trying to get them to the border. They're trying to keep them from getting to the border. They're the ones nipping people off from those trails that are going all the way to our border. They're the ones that are hitting them, swiping them, taking them away. You want that kind of aggression to let out? Let it out. Head over there, take them on. But don't come over here and spreading your hate and trying to stop these kids, from safety. And the same thing applies with with the CCP. You really think the China virus has something to do with China? Fine. But take it up with China. Take it up with those that are in charge. That's going to be a hell of a lot more challenge anyway. That's going to be, well, actually it's not. Technically it's not going to be, because cartels dress like every ordinary person to blend in as they swipe and steal and kidnap. That's actually more tougher to find. The CCP, however, have military outposts, military bases, and every place where every Asian country has a problem with some other Asian country, it's usually because that other Asian company is a Chinese Communist Party funded company. You know, they have fishing boats all over the place. They're not scooping up any fish. They're armed boats with high caliber rifles and machine guns and gunmen, and they're not dropping any nets to scoop up any fish. They're just taking shots at actual fishermen who are in business with the rest of us in the world. So do something about it. But don't sit there and complain and bitch. Don't jump in my ride. For those who are just fresh to see me, I'm a rideshare driver. I'm doing this on my break. Don't jump in my ride and start preaching and spewing all this hate BS, especially to this driver. This driver's not going to believe any crap that you're saying. The world's coming to an end. We're all doomed. We're doomed. And if you don't believe me, you're part of what's wrong with this country. No, I'm not. And neither is anybody else that's watching this show that knows what I'm talking about. We're the ones that are doing the right thing, stepping to one side, letting whoever's in charge take the temporary housing, temporary holding cells, taking tests, taking COVID tests over to the border to make sure that the kids can get processed and sent over to the. We're doing the right thing. It's you that's not doing anything. You're not only doing the wrong thing, you're not doing anything. You're not even standing aside, you're just complaining. If you really have a concern out there, if you're so-called proud American and that you have all these rights and that you have every right not to tolerate the BS that's going on, fine, do something about it. This is what we, the normal people, are doing. This is what we, the average people, are doing. The average Joes, the average guys that are still trying to live amongst the high cost of living and everything like that are doing. The rest of you, and I notice a lot of people out there who go out there with the AR-15s and the body armor, you all have such great paying jobs to afford all that crap, and you're doing your practice shootings against the terrorists on your own private lands and private ranches. You know, the hell with whatever objection you have, especially now that you've revealed yourselves as to who you are. You are no one to complain. It also says that you're also nobody that's blending in, that's having to work with, that's having to coincide, that's having to live with amongst society with these so-called terrorist invaders and infiltrators and whatever you want to call these migrants. You are doing nothing with any of them the way we are out here in the real world, in the working world, out here amongst society. So you're really nobody to talk. But if you want to keep talking, go right ahead. But back up your stuff. Otherwise, you're just this loud mouth full of hot air, full of hate. You're a loudmouth hater that's full of hot air. And that's all. That's what we little people down here in the shallow end see. We're just looking at somebody that's bark, bark, bark. And that's it. You want to do something about it, do something about it. You want this stuff to stop, you want everything to be all American, well, fine. Go do your part in making it American. Go on out there. Take them on. Take on the cartels. Take on the CCP. One's a hell of a lot easier to do. You can find a CCP out there. Just look at wherever the trouble's being caused. They're out there in uniforms, guns, all that good stuff. Just bear in mind you're going against the high caliber stuff. Or you could go down south of the border. Look at the trail of people that are looking for refuge, either at the border or at the embassies. At the embassies down in Mexico or wherever it is that they're crossing. They're waiting around there. They're outside the office buildings and they're getting nabbed. Go down there and shoot the ones that are doing the nabbing. Since this is such a crisis that you see. You know, do something. Join an actual militia. Don't join a hate group. That's all you people are right now. You're joining hate groups. You're listening to people that speak you the same level of mentality, and you're doing nothing but hate, and that's it. It's not patriotic. You're not doing anything worthwhile. You're not doing anything freedom fighting. You sure as hell aren't freedom fighting. You're not doing a damn thing. You're just spewing out a bunch of crap out of your big mouths. That's nothing but hot air. You're doing nothing. And any action that you do on the unarmed, the defenseless, and especially unaware that you're even there you go, jumping and attacking people that they don't even see you coming. You know, you're chumps. You're nothing but chumps. Stop being a chump. Don't join a group. Join an actual militia. Then do something. Fight for that freedom that you so-called claim to be. Be that freedom fighter that you claim to be. Otherwise, you're just nothing but hot air. Don't join a hate group. Join an actual militia. And that's what I got to say. For the rest of us, man, be safe out there. I'm running out of time. Be safe out there. It's the weekend. Enjoy it. Oops, excuse me. Enjoy it and you know, don't hate. And if you come across a douche, a guy that's full of anger, like the way I'm going to be doing all night tonight, you know, point that out. Point that out. You know, don't spew this crap in my ear about this crap. Do something about it. Don't join a hate group. Join an actual militia. Join an actual army. And stop it. That's all the time I got. Y'all take care. Take it easy. Have a great weekend. Chris.